This anime begins in a market where people treat demons like slaves. At that time, many people are mean to the demons, but there is a seller named Banaza who is kind to the demons who work for him. Other sellers think Banaza is strange because he wants humans and demons to get along. One day, Banaza is suddenly taken to the kingdom of Clyrode in another world. He is supposed to become a hero there. Then, a demon guide tells Banaza to touch a crystal ball that shows his strength. But Banaza doesn't have special powers, so people ignore him and pay attention to the blonde hero who has amazing abilities. Even though Banaza seems unimportant in Clyrode, the king can't send him back to his world. So, the king sends Banaza to Delavisa Forest. On the way, Banaza talks to the carriage driver and learns that humans and demons get along well in that world. After traveling for 20 days, Banaza and the coachman arrived at the edge of Delavisa Forest. The coachman gave Banaza the bag from the king and left. While walking alone, Banaza was surprised by a slime attack and used his old sword to defeat it. This made him stronger and activated a communication system. The system warned him about the evil magic in the king's bag, and Banaza realized the king wanted to get rid of him. Soon after, the system removed the evil magic from the bag, and Banaza continued his journey. After walking for a while, Banaza wanted to rest in the forest, but the system warned that the forest was full of evil magic from the demon lords. The system suggested cleaning the forest, and Banaza agreed. After they cleaned the forest, Banaza became very powerful with infinite power. Meanwhile, the king's daughter, Elizabeth, talked to the king about sending Banaza to the dangerous forest. The king said people who can't be heroes deserve such treatment. The king was then surprised to hear about the use of holy magic in Delavisa Forest, where Banaza was, instead of the blonde hero who was fighting monsters. Then, Banaza decided to start a new life in Clyrode Kingdom as an adventurer. He prepared by turning off his level-up notifications and changing his appearance so no one would recognize him. After getting ready, Banaza used his teleportation power to go to Castle Town, the capital of Clyrode Kingdom. Once he arrived, Banaza went to the Adventurers Guild to register as an adventurer with the name FLIO. While registering, Banaza saw a little girl asking adventurers for help to go to Delavisa Forest. Since no one wanted to help her, Banaza offered to assist. However, the royal knight Balarasa and other adventurers were suspicious of Banaza, especially because he said he could use teleportation magic, which only high-level magicians could use. To prove himself, Banaza invited Balarasa and her group, Belano, Blossom, and Bailarai, to join him. There, Banaza quickly took the little girl and Balarasa's group to Delavisa Forest using his teleportation magic. When they saw Banaza's amazing abilities, Balarasa and her friends apologized for doubting him. Soon after, the little girl walked towards the forest, wondering why the dark aura was gone. Suddenly, Balarasa and the others got angry at the girl, thinking she tricked them into doing something easy. The girl then revealed she was actually Fenris, the feared general of the fourth Demon King. To protect Balarasa and the others, Banaza used his teleportation magic to send them back to Castle Town. Banaza then faced Fenris, who attacked him. Using his magic, he managed to corner Fenris with gravity magic. Defeated, Fenris turned into a naked adult woman, and Banaza quickly covered her with a cloth. That night, Fenris woke up and talked to Banaza by the campfire. She wanted to be Banaza's follower. Banaza said no because he was supposed to be exiled from the kingdom. Shortly after, he showed his true appearance, but Fenris still wanted to go with him. So, Banaza finally let her join him on his adventure. Back in the kingdom, the blonde hero complained to the king about the soldiers. The blonde hero couldn't defeat the Demon King's army. Even though he failed, the king still praised him as a hero. The next day, Fenris asked Banaza to go to Castle Town because she wanted to become an adventurer like him. On the way, a traitor thought Fenris was Banaza's wife, which made Fenris happy. At the Adventurers Guild, Fenris registered as an adventurer. Soon after, the guild announced an emergency mission to stop psycho bears attacking people in the North Forest. After that, Banaza and Fenris quickly went to help and found Balarasa's group surrounded by psycho bears. Fenris defeated all the psycho bears. There, Banaza introduced Fenris as his partner, not his wife, which annoyed Fenris and scared the remaining psycho bears. Fenris then turned one of the surviving psycho bears into a rabbit-like creature and named it Sibe. At that moment, Balarasa and the others were amazed by Banaza and Fenris's abilities. Afterward, Banaza and Fenris invited Balarasa and her group to rest in Banaza's house. Balarasa thanked Banaza for saving them from the psycho bears. She also asked Banaza to teach them how to fight because the blonde hero wouldn't fight the Demon King without strong soldiers. At that time, Balarasa wanted to become strong to be a good royal knight. But then, Fenris got angry, thinking Balarasa just wanted to get close to Banaza. To calm her down, Banaza told everyone that Fenris was his wife. After that, she allowed Banaza to train Balarasa's group and let them stay at their house. The next morning, Banaza was surprised to see Fenris in his room. He remembered that Fenris tried to be close to him the night before, but he said no. However, he let her sleep in his room in a different bed so Balarasa and the others wouldn't suspect anything. In the afternoon, Banaza and Fenris started training Balarasa and the others by fighting giant wild boars in the forest. But Balarasa's group was still too weak and got chased by the wild boar. At dinner time, Fenris invited everyone to eat, but she served raw meat, which they couldn't eat. So, with Balarasa's help, Banaza cooked the meat and made a vegetable salad. Fenris, who didn't like vegetables, tried the salad out of respect and was surprised by how tasty it was. Everyone enjoyed the meal, and Fenris felt a bit sad because she couldn't cook human food like Balarasa. One day, Fenris and Banaza went to the guild to sell their catch, and the other adventurers were amazed at the size of it. While waiting for their payment, Fenris asked to walk around town alone. Banaza wanted to go with her, but she insisted on going alone because she was secretly going to a cooking class. At the same time, Leolith invited Banaza to talk about kingdom work. Leolith said the king was impressed by Banaza's success in defeating the psycho bears and wanted to hire him as the blonde hero's assistant. At that time, Banaza was interested, but decided to say no because of Fenris's true identity. Later, Banaza found Fenris looking messy. She didn't want to admit she had been at a cooking class. Even though she often failed, Fenris was determined to keep going so she could cook delicious food for Banaza. That evening at the palace, the blonde hero was enjoying time with his female servants. One servant told him about the king's plan to find a strong assistant for him. Upon hearing that, the blonde hero was happy and excited to meet his new assistant. Days passed, and the royal guard kept offering Banaza the job of the blonde hero's assistant. But Banaza kept saying no, which disappointed the kingdom. Another time, Banaza saw Blossom gardening behind his house. Blossom felt uncomfortable staying for free, so she started gardening to provide food for him. Banaza then checked on Bellano, who often ran out of energy. To help her, Banaza gave her a ring to increase her energy. But before Bellano could put it on, Fenris, who misunderstood, showed up with a scary face. So, Bellano decided not to wear the ring. When Balarasa had trouble fighting a monster, she called Banaza for help. But Fenris quickly arrived and defeated the monster. Fenris got annoyed with Balarasa, thinking she was pretending to be weak to get Banaza's attention. At that time, Fenris warned Balarasa not to tempt Banaza. Without Fenris and the others knowing, the Demon King sent his follower, Eulimenes, to watch Banaza. One evening, after learning to cook for a while, Fenris finally made a delicious dinner for Banaza and the others. During dinner, Fenris noticed Eulimenes hiding behind a tree and invited her inside. While serving drinks to Eulimenes, Fenris asked why she was spying on them. Fenris even thought Eulimenes wanted to take Banaza from her. However, Eulimenes denied it and said she was just on duty in the area. During their conversation, Eulimenes secretly tried to check Banaza's power level, but she couldn't read it at all. She could easily read the Demon King's power, so this surprised her. Eulimenes was even more shocked to learn that Banaza used holy magic in Delavisa Forest, which caused Fenris's older brother, Fengaril, and his troops to die. Despite this, Fenris said she had forgiven Banaza and would stay loyal to him. At that time, Balarasa and her two friends accidentally overheard the conversation and discovered that Fenris was a general of the Demon King. But then, Eulimenes, annoyed with Banaza and Fenris, challenged them to a fight. Seeing that, Banaza quickly used his strength to stop Eulimenes. The next day, Balarasa and her friends met with Fenris and Banaza to talk about Fenris's identity as a general of the Demon King. Fenris admitted she was no longer working for the Demon King. Banaza said he wouldn't stop Balarasa from reporting Fenris to the kingdom, but he would continue to protect Fenris. With all the good things Fenris had done, Balarasa and the others decided not to report her. They were thankful that Fenris had helped them improve their fighting skills. Not long after, Eulimenes attacked Banaza with an army of dragons. Balarasa and her friends were scared, but Banaza was excited to see real dragons, as they were only mythical creatures in his world. When Eulimenes started the attack, Banaza used his lightning magic to defeat the dragons. This made Eulimenes panic, especially as many dragons chose to run away. At the same time, Blossom, using Banaza's power, attacked a dragon with a hoe to become a legendary monster slayer and raise her adventurer level. Blossom's success inspired her friends to do the same, but Eulimenes and the remaining dragons ran away, making Balarasa sad because she missed the chance to become a dragon slayer like her father. Banaza's great ability to defeat the dragon army caught the attention of the demon king named Gol. At that time, Gol wanted to meet Banaza to understand his strength. Another time, Balarasa asked to go into the forest to hunt a magic animal to increase her strength. She lied to go alone because she was sad about not becoming a dragon slayer. In the forest, Balarasa was approached by Gol in disguise. Surprised, she pointed her sword at Gol, who said he was Fenris's brother and wanted to be friends with humans. After this, Gol left. Later, Banaza and his friends found Balarasa after detecting the Demon King's presence. Banaza explained he had set up shields to detect Demon Kings. Balarasa was shocked to realize the man she met was the feared Demon King. A few days later, Gol came to Banaza's house to talk. Meanwhile, Balarasa, who was washing clothes, ended up sitting next to the Demon King, feeling scared. Soon after, Gol invited Banaza to be his ally, but Banaza refused, saying he didn't want to take sides in the human and demon war. Curious, Banaza asked why demons and humans were always fighting. Gol explained that the conflict started around 500 years ago when the first demon king from another world saw demons being enslaved by humans. At that time, the first demon king attacked the human kingdoms that refused to free the demons. During their talk, Gol showed his power, which made Balarasa nervous, though she tried to stay calm. But there, Gol praised her bravery. After that, Gol left but said he would keep trying to convince Banaza to join him. For days, Gol kept visiting Banaza, trying to make him join the demon. This made Balarasa uncomfortable, and she always found ways to avoid Gol, making him think she was very hardworking. At the palace, the king heard that Gol was visiting Banaza and thought Banaza had allied with the demon. Elizabeth asked the king to check if this was true, but he didn't listen to her. Then, the blonde hero used this chance to force Banaza to side with the kingdom. He brought his soldiers to Banaza's house to question him. Banaza said he didn't want to take sides. He decided to move his house, fields, and family to a new place to avoid trouble. Using his teleportation magic, Banaza moved everything quickly, surprising the blonde hero and his soldiers with his powerful magic. When Gol found out that Banaza had moved his house to the North Forest because of the Clyrode Kingdom's actions, he became furious and launched a massive attack on the kingdom. Meanwhile, Banaza and his friends were happy to move to Hofto, a place far from the royal capital. Banaza knew the city well because he often traded there. To celebrate their move, Fenris invited everyone to a special dinner. Back at the kingdom, Gol's attack caused great chaos. The king was in trouble, especially since the blonde hero chose to hide in his fortress. With no other choice, the king ordered Greenel and the other royal knights to use purification magic, even though it could hurt them badly. Turns out, the magic worked, and they managed to push back Gol's troops and protect the people of Clyrode. After the war, the king needed time to recover and Elizabeth took over leadership. On her first day, she fired and expelled the blonde hero from the southern fortress because he didn't help during the Demon King's attack. Meanwhile, Banaza and Fenris enjoyed their time in Hofto. There, Fenris was happy to be with Banaza, especially when he gave her a beautiful gemstone. That night, the blonde hero and his loyal servant, Suya, secretly snuck into the royal treasure room to find a weapon to defeat the Demon King. While searching, the blonde hero found a sword that had a genie named Haya inside. When Haya was freed, she said she would grant the blonde hero a wish. The blonde hero asked her to defeat Banaza. In the kingdom, Elizabeth called Ursula, the fortune teller, to ask what to do to make Clyrode strong enough to fight the Demon King's army. During the prophecy reading, mysterious neck shackles appeared on everyone. Then, Ursula told the story of the first king who asked the genie Haya to help defeat the Demon King by sacrificing half of Clyrode's people. The same thing was happening again because the blonde hero had asked Haya for help, and now the genie had marked all the Clyroad people as her victims. Ursula said a hero from the west of the kingdom would be their savior. Elizabeth and the nobles thought this hero might be Banaza. So, Elizabeth decided to meet him and ask for his help. In Hofto City, Banaza was busy negotiating with a trader at the market. Impressed by his high-quality goods, the trader agreed to do business with him. Outside the shop, Balarasa praised Banaza's trading skills, which made Fenris jealous. She started intimidating Balarasa and reminded her to be careful, especially since Goal liked Balarasa. Upon hearing that, Balarasa was surprised and didn't expect that a demon king would like her. Sometime later, Haya came to Hofto City to kill Banaza as the blonde hero had asked. Fenris tried to protect Banaza from Haya's attack, but she got badly hurt. Seeing Fenris in pain, Banaza tried to heal her, but it didn't work. Angry, he copied Haya's power and used time magic to save Fenris. After healing Fenris, Banaza, still angry, attacked Haya with all his strength until she was helpless. Just as Banaza was about to finish Haya, Fenris woke up and stopped him. With Haya defeated, Elizabeth and her troops, who were on their way to Hofto City, were freed from the chains on their necks. Elizabeth realized that Haya had failed to fulfill the blonde hero's wish. At the same time, the blonde hero and Tsuya were worried because royal troops surrounded them, wanting to arrest them. Suddenly, a voice from where Haya was sealed told them that Haya had failed to kill Banaza. As punishment, an evil figure named Damalinas took over Tsuya's body and turned the blonde hero into a monster. They used a teleportation portal to leave the storage room and take revenge on Clyroad's people. Back to Haya, because Banaza had restored her, she had to follow Fenris's orders to become Banaza's servant genie. Banaza then used his magic to fix the damage to the city caused by his fight with Haya. When Banaza and Fenris brought Haya home, Balarasa and the others were shocked to live with a genie. Banaza explained what happened and asked Balarasa not to worry about Haya being in their house. That night, while in the room with Banaza, Fenris expressed her worry that Banaza would return to his world without her. Then, Banaza assured her that he would not go back to his original world, especially now that he realized he truly loved Fenris and wanted to make her his wife. As Banaza started to show his affection, they were interrupted by Haya appearing in the room. Banaza and Fenris were annoyed and asked Haya not to interfere in their personal lives, even though Haya had become Banaza's maid. The next morning, everyone started eating breakfast, and Fenris ordered Haya to do various housework without using magic. After breakfast, Blossom and Saib worked on plowing the land behind the house, while Bailarai took care of her horse. At that time, Bailarai didn't have time to earn extra money because she was busy with the horse. Meanwhile, Balino was in her room, thinking about her father and older brother, who had strong magical abilities. Balino felt different because she had to leave the order before mastering much magic. Fortunately, she met Banaza, who helped her learn many things. Soon, Balino was surprised by a commotion outside caused by a magic horse making trouble in Blossom's field. Quickly, Balino and the others tried to stop the horse until Bailarai managed to tame it. They realized their land wasn't big enough, so Balarasa and the others decided to ask Banaza for help in buying new land to farm. With the magic horse, they could also transport their crops to the city more easily. Meanwhile, Banaza and Fenris were in the city when the sky suddenly turned dark. This was because Damalinas, who was chasing Elizabeth, had appeared. There, Haya warned Banaza and Fenris about Damalinas, a witch who had studied dark magic long ago. Turns out, a hero had sealed Damalinas in a sword with Haya, but the seal was broken when the blonde hero freed Haya. Now, Damalinas wanted revenge on the descendants of Clyroad who had imprisoned her. Shortly after, Haya asked Banaza for permission to fight Damalinas and her monsters to protect Elizabeth. Just before Damalinas attacked Princess Elizabeth, Haya managed to stop her. Damalinas then made a powerful attack to try to remove Haya from her path. Even so, Haya refused to back down because Banaza had ordered her to stop Damalinas. With Banaza's help, they paralyzed Damalinas, and Haya freed Tsuya from Damalinas' control. The monster then turned back into the blonde hero. Soon after, Elizabeth thanked Banaza for saving her and apologized for the bad behavior of the king and the royal heroes towards him. Since the blonde hero was no longer a hero, Elizabeth offered the position to Banaza. But he refused because he just wanted to live happily with Fenris. When they returned home, Balarasa and her friends told Banaza they wanted to expand their farmland. Banaza planned to buy land from the royal nobility. Balarasa said they wanted to use their own money, but when they learned how expensive the land was, they were shocked. Then, Banaza decided to buy the land and, to make the girls feel better, he asked for 30% of the profits from the farm. Hearing that, Balarasa and her friends agreed to that offer. The next day, Haya wanted to help on Blossom's farm using her magic, but Blossom refused because she didn't want to use any magic in farming. Balino, however, was curious to see magic used for everyday things since she had only seen it used in war. Soon after, Banaza saw them arguing and suggested that Blossom let Haya try using magic on a small plot of land. If the results weren't good, Blossom wouldn't need to sell the crops. After hearing Banaza's suggestion, Blossom agreed to give Haya a small plot to try. Later, Banaza invited Fenris to chat and surprised her by proposing with a ring. Fenris was very happy because she had been waiting for this proposal. In the royal prison, the blonde hero and Tsuya panicked when they heard they would be sentenced to death. Then, the blonde hero shouted to be released. One day, Balarasa had a nightmare where she found herself in the demon's kingdom, about to marry Gol. She screamed until she woke up. The next morning, while baking cakes, Balarasa was lost in thought about her dream. Shortly after, Fenris approached and told her she was in love. There, Blossom and the others started talking about how Gol liked Balarasa, making her even more embarrassed. Even though Balarasa was shy, she didn't admit that she dreamed about Gol the previous night. In the middle of the girls' conversation, Haya, curious about Fenris' love story, asked how she got close to Banaza. With excitement, Fenris started telling her story, but their talk was interrupted by a signal indicating the presence of a demon. After seeing that the demon wasn't moving, Banaza and the others decided to ignore it. In the kingdom of Clyrode, Elizabeth was surprised to learn that Banaza had donated road coins to help repair the city. She remembered a hero who had been banished to Delavisa Forest with a bag of road coins. Since road coins were rare, Elizabeth realized Banaza was likely that hero. She decided to apologize to Banaza for the kingdom's mistakes. Moments later, a guard reported that the blonde hero and Tsuya had escaped from prison. Hearing this, Elizabeth ordered her soldiers to capture the fugitives. At the same time, the blonde hero and Tsuya were stealing the kingdom's treasures to continue their lives after escaping. Unfortunately, the box they took didn't contain money, but a royal heirloom shovel. Cornered, the blonde hero used the shovel to dig their way out. Surprisingly, the shovel could dig very deep, helping them escape quickly. In the Demon Kingdom, Eulimenes met with Gol to report that he hadn't found Banaza. Eulimenes suggested that Gol focus on the war with Clyrode Kingdom instead of looking for Banaza. However, Gol insisted on finding Banaza to work with him, even planning to search for Banaza on his own. Unbeknownst to Gol and Eulimenes, their conversation was secretly overheard by Fufin, Uegard's close ally. Then, Fufin immediately reported Gol's behavior to Uegard, who was upset. Uegard believed that humans should be eliminated or enslaved, not allied with. Soon after, he decided to overthrow Gol as the Demon King. The next day in town, Balarasa wanted to treat Fenris and Banaza to food as a thank you for their help. While they were eating, Gol found Banaza and joined them, making Balarasa uncomfortable. Then, they all had lunch together at a nearby restaurant. During the meal, Balarasa blamed Gol for the demon attacks that hurt many people. Banaza tried to calm her down, and Gol explained that demons were also suffering because of human oppression. At that time, Balarasa was surprised to learn that humans often mistreated demons too. After the conversation with Gol, Banaza returned from the restaurant still thinking about the ongoing conflict between demons and humans. On another occasion, Fenris received praise from everyone for her delicious cooking. She admitted that her cooking skills were thanks to Milino, who had taught her many recipes. However, their conversation had to stop when Elizabeth arrived to apologize to Banaza for the king's bad treatment. Even though Elizabeth apologized, Banaza insisted he did not want to get involved in the conflict between demons and humans. Because Banaza didn't want to take sides, Elizabeth showed a military map of the Clyrode Kingdom. At that time, Fenris misunderstood and thought Elizabeth wanted to use Banaza for her political plans. Banaza calmed Fenris by explaining that Elizabeth only wanted him to stay neutral. After hearing this, Elizabeth felt relieved and asked Banaza to help protect the kingdom's citizens from demon attacks. Meanwhile, the blonde hero, who had escaped from prison, was surprised that Tsuya was still following him. Tsuya explained that he was moved by the blonde hero's kindness for not leaving him behind, even though Tsuya often caused problems. During their talk, Fufin appeared and tried to capture them for a demon summoning ritual. That evening, as Banaza was about to rest, he was still thinking about Elizabeth's request to protect the residents. When Fenris came to him, Banaza expressed his wish for a peaceful world where humans and demons could live together, so his children and grandchildren could live happily. The next day, people in the kingdom began to flee after hearing about the demon army planning to attack. Unfortunately, a little girl was still playing alone at the edge of the forest and became the target of the demon army sent by Uigard. Just before the demons could hurt her, Banaza and Fenris, in their true forms, arrived to stop the attack. The demon troops criticized Fenris, but she stood firm, wanting to end the war between demons and humans. Fenris had to fight all the demons and defeated them. After the battle, Banaza healed the demons that Fenris had defeated. He and Fenris asked the demon troops to stay away from the citizens. Because of their heroic actions, many civilians were saved, just as Elizabeth had hoped. Meanwhile, Gol was angry because Uigard sent a demon army without his permission. He became even more frustrated after hearing about Uigard's planned rebellion. Some of Gol's followers began to distrust his leadership and suggested a duel between Gol and Uigard to decide the Demon King. Without hesitation, Gol showed his strength and defeated Uigard with one blow. On the other hand, the blonde hero and Tsuya used the chaos to escape from the Demon Kingdom. Although Gol showed his true strength, he was disappointed with his followers and decided to step down as Demon King. He left the kingdom with his trusted ally, Eulimenas. With no place to stay, Gol and Eulimenas were forced to live at Banaza's house. Everyone accepted them except Balarasa, but out of respect for Fenris, Balarasa finally accepted Gol and Eulimenas into their home. One day, Eulimenas was surprised to see Gol more excited about chatting with Banaza than leading the Dark Army to attack the Clyrode Kingdom. Fenris heard Eulimenas and explained that Gol was no longer a Demon King, so he could interact more freely with humans. In the evening, Banaza and his friends, except Balarasa, were enjoying their time together around a campfire. After chatting, they all went to their rooms to rest. Balarasa was the only one still awake. Soon after, Banaza and Fenris invited her to talk. Then, Balarasa finally shared her discomfort about living with Gol and Eulimenas, who were from the Demon Nation. At that time, Banaza and Fenris tried to understand and told her not to force herself to get along with them. After their talk, Balarasa began to accept the demons living with them. Meanwhile, the blonde hero and Tsuya had escaped from the demon territory and stolen treasures from the demon palace for their journey. In the Demon Kingdom, Fufin reported to Uigard, now the Demon King, about the defeat of the demon army. Uigard was annoyed, so Fufin gathered his colleagues to make a plan to cheer him up. A few days later, Banaza and Fenris decided to go to the hot springs with their friends. Fenris felt annoyed because she couldn't be alone with Banaza, who was always surrounded by many women. But then, Banaza calmed her by saying that their trip to the hot springs was to help Gol and Eulimenas get closer to the group. Arriving at the hot springs, Fenris and her friends noticed that demons were already there because Fufin had invited Uigard and other members of the Demon Kingdom to relax. Meanwhile, the blonde hero and Tsuya were also at the hot springs, trying to avoid the demons who didn't notice them. In the sauna area, the blonde hero accidentally brought a demon-attracting crystal, causing the demons to start creating chaos. Seeing the situation getting out of control, Banaza stepped in to stop the trouble caused by the blonde hero. At the same time, Uigard met Gol and became angry, attacking his older brother and causing serious damage to the hot springs. Soon after, Balarasa and the others quickly evacuated everyone to a safer place. Fenris, meanwhile, was seen scolding and hitting the blonde hero for causing trouble. After that, Gol and Uigard continued to fight until Gol decided to stop his younger brother by sealing Uigard's magic power. Suddenly, the demons causing chaos were bound by their own clothes. The hot spring owner had enchanted the sauna clothes so that any misbehaving visitors would be automatically restrained and sent back to where they came from. After this incident, Banaza and the others helped the inn owner repair the damage using Banaza's restoration magic. This allowed all visitors to enjoy the hot springs again, including Fenris, who finally got to be alone with Banaza while enjoying the beautiful night sky. At the end of the anime, Fenris and her friends return home after their time at the hot springs. Meanwhile, at the palace, Elizabeth is officially appointed queen after the king fled in fear of his crimes being discovered. On the other hand, the blonde hero and Tsuya are still fugitives from the kingdom. The anime ends. The moral lesson from this anime is sometimes, even demons just need a good soak in a hot spring to chill out. And always double-check your magical artifacts before bringing them to a sauna.